Smithsonians, welcome back. Smith Francois here. I'm here with a great guest, a special guest, KingLouis. If you don't know who KingLouis is, you're not Haitian or you're not amongst the Haitian community, I would love to introduce you guys to my uncle KingLouis. And the reason I brought him on is, of course, he is a influencer. He's an alpha in the family, I say. And this man has the person who set me straight. He didn't have to say much. He just look at me in a small tone, say what he had to say, and that was it. So, KingLouis, who are you? How are you feeling?
Smithsonians, welcome back. Yeah, this ain't just content, it's purpose. Purpose over popularity. We building legacy, not just views. Every story got meaning, every voice got truth. Camera rolling, vision clear. We turn purpose into impact here. Smith says, let's go. Let's go.
Hey, good morning. Good afternoon, Smitty. Thank you for having me on your show. I want to say congratulations to you too. I've been following you on social media and I see you doing well. My name is actually Louis Douyon. I was raised in a family of eight. I'm the youngest child, the baby of the family. Um, I was born in Haiti back in 1964, came to the United States in 1976 in February, which was a culture shock. Being from a place where it's tropical, it's always hot, and coming here to the United States in a coldest month of the year, which is February, in Chicago. So it was a culture shock. But nevertheless, I adjusted really well. Went to school here, finished grammar school here, went to high school here, multicultural. I would say high school where we had Haitian, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, and also Afro Americans, different cultures, different backgrounds, but we all got along. And sometimes we didn't, but nevertheless, yeah. Went from high school to college where I began my career as a sound engineer, looking for a sound engineering job. But that, along with broadcasting, I always had a love for the radio. Always had a love to speak to people and to help people. So went to school at Columbia College. Got a degree in radio broadcasting and sound engineering. Then after that, I started working at the post office, but I was also doing a radio show at WHPK in Chicago for a little while for a Haitian show we call Radio. And that's when I became popular among the Haitian community. Uh, I would say citywide or statewide. But as a teenager, I grew up listening to music because my father was a musician. So I was always into music. Started DJing at an early age. Um, did a lot of did a lot of DJing with a lot of people. Um, a lot of famous people as well. So I'm really into music, but my main focus is, my main dream is really about broadcasting, radio broadcasting, and being on the radio.
Okay, that's you see, I'm just learning about you because all I know is that when there's Haitian artists out there, I know you was the man. So the carnivals, everything, I just know. So I didn't get that aspect. So my question is, why Chicago? Like, how do you end up Chicago? Like Haiti, Chicago? Because Chicago's founded by Haitian. Like, how did we suddenly move from Haiti to Chicago?
Well, my mother was there. My mother was there due to my uncle uh, that came before her and, helped her got here to the United States. And then gradually she brought us in, to the United States. So I've never known Chicago before then. All I knew was New York. Whenever you were in Haiti back in the days, whenever they talked about the United States, it was always New York, New York, New York. So Chicago was different for me. It was strange. It was learning culture aspect. You had to learn how to survive in Chicago at an early age because the gangs they didn't care. They didn't care whether you were young or old. You know, they try you
Mm.
from high school. I mean, actually from grammar school. You know, we had high school gang members that used to come to the grammar school all the time and, you know, and try to, you know, beat us up and stuff like that, you know. But for me, I was always the lucky one, I guess you could say, because they always seemed to take a liking into me because I guess I was different. You know, being, you know, a Haitian person, they call me Frenchie because I know how to speak French, and, you know, most of them don't know how to speak French. So it was different. But Chicago was, you know, the place that my mom, you know, was there and all her kids had to be with her. So
So are you skipping something? Are you saying you got to fight back? Like, are you sure it's just language? 'Cause, you know, Chicago's always like,
no, no,
hey,
no,
like,
no. It's not a question of fighting back. It's a question of your personality. You
okay,
know, people can see who you are and the person that you are based on how you act
okay,
and how you behave. And I wasn't the one, the kind of person that was out there like that. But, you know, they didn't care, man, back in the days, and they still don't. And back in the days, to survive in Haiti, I mean, to survive here in Chicago, you had to be strong. You had to be smart, street smart.
all right.
Yeah.
So being street smart, like, how was the education process? Like, you study music, so how was that process in school? Like, there was bullying and stuff, but like the education process, like, how did you learn? How did you
Well,
do
there was
music?
not well when I got to college, there was no such thing as bullying, to me. I tried to get into a fraternity, but I was declined. But I guess that was it wasn't meant to be. That's how I see it. You don't have to prove yourself to somebody to become somebody, And so the music part it's part of me. It grew on me because my father was a musician. He played steel guitar, the only Haitian man that knew how to play steel guitar in Haiti. And so he was trying to teach me back in the days. I remember for a few months I used to go to his house for lunch, and he was trying to teach me how to play steel guitar. But music was something that was that was instilled in me at a very early age. I love music. I love listening to music. I actually sang in a band back in the days called Chaka of Haiti. So music is part of me. And I love playing music. I love DJing. I love listening to it, and I love talking about music.
Okay. So the Haitian community in Chicago, was it as it transparent as it is now? Like, before they didn't talk about it being founded by Haitian, like, what was it like to be? So
Well,
what was your focus first of all? Because you Radio, like you said, Radio
voilà, guy.
Balakai. So how was that? Was that
Mhm.
Creole? Like, explain that stage.
Yeah, Radio Valakai means voice of home. So we spoke Creole, and it was a show that took place on WHPK 88.5 FM every Saturday from 4:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. So it was actually this guy named Patrick Augustin that used to do the show, and he got me to come and help him. And I got a chance to do the show by myself at times when he was absent or he had something to do. So people got a chance to listen to me. I wasn't a political person because I don't really get into politics like that, but Haitians they do. So we do had segments of political like aspect of things like where people came in and talk politics. But to me, it was more about the music because when you spend a whole week working and as a Haitian and you listen to nothing but maybe if you had a cassette tape in your car you can listen to back in the days you can listen to Haitian music, but mostly all you heard was R&B and hip hop or whatever was on the radio. So to you to get home on a Saturday and lay back for like a 2.5 hour show and listen to some good compa was to me like the ideal way of relaxing yourself on a Saturday, and to really reconnect with your Haitian culture.
Yes. Okay. So now I'm remembering, I'm recalling that. So yeah, Saturday night, he's like, I'm catching memories of it. So like, how was it to bring your first artist upon the radio? Like, what were you the initiator of the radio station? Like, how was that process?
No, actually, it was a guy named Leslie Balancourt who came with the idea of having a radio show. And, of course, we were on the south side and the north side of Chicago. They had their own radio show. So it just happened that I just happened to go to, me and Patrick, we used to be in the same band. Patrick was a band leader of ChicagoHaitian of Haiti. And we used to talk, and one day he told me he was going to go do a show, and I was like, "Where?" And he told me the radio station, and I was like, that's what I studied. I studied broadcasting and sound engineering, and he said, "Well, I need some help. Can you help me out?" And that's how everything started. Just by being at the right place at the right time. So what I did with it, you know, I grew up the listeners, and by me being a Haitian DJ as well, so I was really known in Chicago for DJing.
Okay.
Because we took Haitian music and we DJ'd it like it was house music or whatever music, because that's what we did. We were a bunch of young Haitian guys. We grew up in Chicago, and when mixing came out, we were deep into it, and we had like a deep Haitian group mixed with mixed with one Jamaican and a couple of Americans. We used to call ourselves MixedMasters Incorporated. And this was in high school. And we used to go out, man, and bang some music. And then, the music we used to bang was really house music. And then I was listening to a lot of Haitian music, and I was like, you know what? Let me try to mix some of this Haitian music just like I do, with house music. And we tried it one day at a Haitian party. Man, people were loving it. So yeah, man, so it was cool. And then I went from DJing house music, Haitian music, and then eventually got into reggae,
Okay.
doing a lot of reggae. But for the Haitian community, my main focus was to keep us together. And the way to do that is to be on the radio and also to keep the community alive. So I started bringing bands to Chicago. I started bringing different bands to Chicago, doing different things for Father's Day, Mother's Day, different occasions, and it worked out for a little, for a while.
Okay. Can you give me the first band you brought out?
The first band I brought to Chicago was Top Vice.
Okay.
Miami Top Vice was
Okay.
the first band I brought to Chicago.
Okay. Sweet. And then you do carnival, you did carnival too, right? You did the parade
Yeah,
thing.
the carnivals was actually that Caribbean fest that they be having in late July, early August, I think it is.
Okay.
Um, that we participated as the Haitian, as a Haitian group, representing Haiti. And so yeah, we used to be on the float, playing the music, just trying to represent, Haiti the best way we could.
Okay. All right. So I wasn't there, but my question is it possible to bring that back? The culture, the festival. I know it's a lot of uncertainty right now, but right now it's a lot of negative. It's like the vibe is low. I was trying to see like what could we do, what could be done to bring back the moral. I know it's a lot has to do with laws and stuff of that nature. Like you don't do politics. Like what are some things that we could do right now to keep the people alive?
Well, they still have it. They do
Okay.
still have the Carry Fest, what they call it, Carry Fest. They do have it at the Caribbean Fest every year, and they're preparing for it this year as well. And the Haitian they participate, but you can tell the people that participate a lot are the Belizeans and the Jamaicans. They usually have the bigger sound system. They usually have the more people there representing them. But the Haitians, they come out. It's just that we don't publicize it enough. I think by it being on the south side of Chicago, a lot of people on the north side of Chicago don't know about it. You have Haitians living, like outside of Chicago, like in the suburbs, and to me, the best way to connect with them is to the to the to the ambassador that we have, to the consulate that we have in Chicago, because the consulate, you're supposed to have a list of all the Chicagoans that's living in Illinois.
Okay.
if you're a consulate of a Haitian consulate in Chicago. So I would expect for them to be the one who push it out more, get newsletters, get flyers or whatever, telling the Haitians to represent. But it's a big Haitian community in Chicago. We are everywhere, and so it's just that we don't connect too much. The North Side people always stays, like they better than the South Side. The South Side always think that they better than the North, and it goes on back and forth. And then the ones in the suburb think that they're better than anybody that live in Chicago because they live in the suburb. So, we do have our little, specs or whatever you want to call it, against each other, and that's what's keeping us apart.
Okay. Yeah, that does make sense. It's like even because I spoke a few times or I asked a few representatives of the consulate to come to Ohio, like, no, they need to be invited. I'm like, okay. So hopefully I get to do that because I want the Midwest, like we're not uniform as I think we should. But yeah, I'll leave that to politics. But so what's some things that you think that the HQ could do as artists? How are you liking the trends that's happening, or what are some changes that you would do? Like, what's your vision? Just the
Well,
Midwest
right now, to me, the only thing that I don't know if you're talking about Haitians in Chicago or if you're talking about Haitians in general.
in general, because I know like they have parties like DJ Fire. I know now he does a lot in the Midwest, but like
Mhm.
Florida, New York, like they're popping. Like the Midwest is kind of shaky. I know you're in Florida
Okay,
now,
so you're
like
talking about the Haitians in the Midwest.
yes,
Okay, the Haitians in the Midwest. What can we do? Well, we need to get together, first of all. You know, we are far apart, and some of us, unfortunately, a lot of people are living, with TPS status here, and the Haitians that are living with TPS status, they really don't want to speak out because they be targeted, for going back home. But what we need to do is stick together, form a coalition between states, like Illinois, Michigan, Indiana, Ohio,
yes,
places like that in the Midwest that needs to have a representative from each state that could actually represent them in a coalition. So meaning that you have like a president of a coalition from Ohio, a president of a coalition from Michigan, a president of a coalition from, that's really out there trying to represent the community and not themselves. Of course, a lot of politicians when they get into politics and they said that they're going to represent you, but it's all about them and their pockets. So I don't really believe in getting into politics, but we do need representation, higher and above. We do need representation in, the House of Congress if we can. Haitian Americans, a Haitian American who was born here that decided to go, run into politics and do Senate, go for the Senate or the House seats, that's fine. You can start at a local level or state level and work your way up. But it has to be someone that is dedicated to defend us, you know. And so far, even our own leaders in Haiti doesn't represent us. So it's going to be hard, It's going to be it has to be somebody God chosen, and for us, that's going to lead us to the right direction and defend us, whenever necessary.
okay, all right. Um, so I want to switch back and forth. So in Chicago, like, what was the biggest concert or event that most stands out for you? Like, what was the one? Like, what was it? The the concert or event that stand out the most?
Well, before we let me see. The events that stand out to me were all of them, really, because all of them had their own different, little, they were all different for me. The one show that I really enjoyed was having one of the oldest Haitian band, came here, came to Chicago and played Toby Canada Haiti. Now, this is like my mother eras, my mother's era, those bands were really popular. It's like an orchestra. So they have a horn section, they have like different sections. It's like a big orchestra playing, and then you're dancing. So that show, it was a big turnout. A lot of people, a lot of old people got a chance to meet with a lot of young people. So we had both kind of group, the young group and the older group, because, like I said, my mother's age, which is your grandma. So it was different because, and one thing that stood out to me was that at that time, Chaka Roots of Haiti was just starting to be known in the Haitian community, and we got a chance to open up for Tropicana Haiti. And after we did our show, the band members from Tropicana actually loved us. They loved everything about the group. So that stood out to me because it was a reinforcement that we were going in a positive direction as far as my group is concerned. And of course, we did a couple of shows with Bookman Experience, and Bookman Experience is a very popular band in Haiti, roots and culture. So yeah. I would say that was one of the ones that was really big for me, Tropicana, because it's a band consists of actually over 20 members.
Okay.
So trying to get 20 members down here with airline tickets and hotel reservation and all the other stuff. So it was a challenging experience.
Okay. So yeah, there's a lot of things I want to ask, but I want to go off what you said. Like, what was your memory of my grandma, your mother? So like, what lessons did she share for the future generations of me, basically, and us? Like, what's some positive message? Like, tell some more about
Well,
it.
I don't know what she told you guys, but mother was very independent. Okay. In Haiti, she was a seamstress, and she suffered a lot in Haiti with some of the kids that are older than me. I've learned stories of homelessness at times, and but she managed. She managed. She was a seamstress. She did a lot of embroideries and a lot of stuff like that. So she managed to keep a roof over our head, even though we didn't have a father figure in the house. So, mother was very strong. She came to the United States back in the 60s, and she worked like a horse, you know, she was placed in demeaning situations, but she made good out of it, working in nursing homes and all these things. And so to me, one of the lessons that I've learned from her is in order for you to survive, in order for you to become something, you really have to work hard at it. You really have to work hard, no matter how far you have to go. How far you have to go, whether you on the bus or the train or you driving, whether it was cold outside, whether it was hot outside, you still had to go out there and hustle another for you to survive and for your kids to survive. So mother was a very strong woman, and she was a no nonsense person. Um, she speak and we listen. And other time when we didn't listen, what came after that, the whipping came after that. But mother was a very sweet lady. She's always had this defensive look on her face, like most of us do, like I do. And of course, my daughter Tiffany, we the same way. So it wasn't nothing like she was a mean person. It was just that, she wanted to know where you were coming from before you came to her at a different way. So she knew how to approach you or how to receive you. And like most of my friends, when they first met my mom, they thought she was like the meanest thing in the world because of the way that she looked at you and the question that she asked you before. But once she get to know you, man, she was the sweetest person in the world. She'll give you the clothes off her back. She'll feed you. She'll do anything that you need. She was there for us. You know.
Yeah, yeah. The thing that sticks out with me with her is like you are somebody. It's like, yeah, she always told me that. It's like, and she always slides some money in my hand, like every once in a while. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She always put it to the side. She'd wait for a few seconds and then she'll talk to you like that. Face is like, just
Hmm.
wait for it. Like, yeah, wait for her message.
Yeah. She was always giving advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember one time I had two watches on. She's like, I don't know what she said, but like my vodka boy, I don't, it's a feeling that she told me. I just even like, don't ever wear two watches again. Like, it was like, what are you like?
Yeah, it's like, what
Yes,
are you, a pimp or something? Why do you
yeah,
have to watch two watch on?
yeah,
One is enough, you know. So yeah, my mother was very interesting. Like I said, she was very sweet, very intelligent. Uh, she spoke Latin, she sang in Latin, she had a beautiful voice, just a beautiful spirit to be around, you know. She's dearly missed.
yes,
But as I tell you the story, Auntie Wowo
yeah,
was also like a second mom to me because she raised me from the time my mom left Haiti, and so I owe a lot of gratitude to her as well
yes,
because she was the one who taught me how to tie my shoes. She was the one who taught me how to go from home to school and school back, to home, and she was the one who helped me with my homeworks at times, and I owe a bunch of gratitude to her as well because she helped shape me to the person that I am today.
yes. So let's talk about like, how was it? How was your upbringing? It's like we made it. It's like there's so many things that people are going through, but it's like they want to see the end. So like, what motivation, like, what hope do you have for the people that's going through that rough path right now? Like, what advice or suggestion could give to them?
Well, the advice I can give is that you can always say that at the end of the tunnel, there's always a light. So you have to search for that light, even if the path that you're taking is very dark, but you have to continue that path. And sometimes you have to light a match to see your way to the front. And by lighting a match, like, holding a torch and going to a dark place and making sure that you get to to where you're going, safely or securely. So to me, it's like if you really want to succeed here in the United States, there's nothing you really can't do. You just have to focus, stay focused, have a plan, uh, execute your plan well. Make sure that whatever that you decide to do in life is something that you're going to enjoy, something that you're going to have fun doing, and not something that's just a job to you. And so, but the key is education. You have to educate yourself, not only to school, but you have to educate yourself, other ways, that because the school system only teach you so much. And a lot of people go to school and they get a master's or whatever, but what is it about yourself that you're learning? You know, so it's all about you, who you are, and who you want to be, and digging deep within yourself to see what you can bring out of you. And whatever that you bring out of you is going to be the product that you sell to others. So you really have to dig deep inside of you and find out exactly who you are and what is your purpose in life. What is it that you was put up in this world to do? Is it to make a difference in somebody's life, or is it to just live your life as is and continue living freely and not have a care in the world? Or do you have a life with a purpose? So it's something that you really, like each and every one of us have to really focus on. And I'm saying like each and individually because, you know, you came into this world by yourself and you're going to live by yourself. Whatever judgment, awaits you in whatever other life, it's what you do here that's going to matter. So, it's not about what people think of you. It's not about what people say to you. It's about what you think of yourself and who you think you are. So my main advice would be, stay focused and be true to yourself and who you really are and not lie to yourself.
Okay. So you basically hit what I was going to say, but I'll say it in for the podcast purpose. So podcast is purpose over popularity. So what does purpose over popularity mean to you? I think you pretty much said it, but I just want to say it again. What does
Purpose of popularity?
purpose over popularity mean to you?
Well, popularity is like, people know you. You can have 3, 4, 500 million followers, viewers, or whatever. But what is your purpose to those people? Because your action and your words kind of dictate how those people feel about you and how those people perceive what you tell them. I was reading a story about this girl who's she's an influencer, right? And she has a lot of millions of followers. But it was a message that she gave to them that doomed her for the rest of her life and doom those people for the rest of their lives because they're following you and they actually listening to you and you misled them, you led them astray, and now all of you are astray. So from the truth. So now everybody's lost. So my thing is, your purpose in life is to be truthful to yourself and to others. To lead by example, to lead honestly by examples, truthfully by your character, you know? So it doesn't matter how many people that you have as followers or whatever, it's the amount of people that you connect to positively, spiritually, and, mentally. The people that you help elevate to a different level are the people that you are saving. It's not you can have 8,000, like I said, 800 million people, and you lead all of them astray with just one phrase, So you have to be positive and and you have to make sure that, when you have others following you, you have to lead by example. And the first example is yourself. Don't lie to yourself. If you don't know the truth about something, get the truth before you go out there and say and lead everybody to a lie. And now everybody believes in this lie, and then now everybody's doomed, you know?
Yes,
So, yeah, popularity is nothing. Your purpose in life is everything.
message received. So to come to a close, I have to do this to you. I have 5 fingers, so you have your top 5 artists or band. You have to pick which one you want to choose, top 5 artists or band in your books.
None. None. You know what? To tell you the truth, I am so well-rounded when it comes to music, right?
Okay.
I love reggae music, and one of my top artists is Bob Marley because Bob Marley was a prophet, and he was far more advanced at his time than we'd ever known. If you listen to his music, his messages right on point. So of course, they killed him for it. That's one of my like one person that I actually listened, like his music was so deep to me.
Okay.
So definitely Bob Marley has to be one of the first. Um, as far as others that I listen to,
Your top five.
I really don't have a top five. I only have a top one. Seriously. Because no, no, seriously. I have like if you want to say like people like that, I want to say like, Bob Marley, people like I just can't, because I love music so much, right? I've listened to all kind of music, reggae music, salsa, merengue,
Okay, I give top five
calypso,
genre.
Haitian.
I'll drop it down a little bit. Top five genre.
Top five genres. I would say reggae music is definitely one. Kompa has to be the best. Kompa, reggae music, uh, salsa,
Okay.
salsa music, and calypso music is very good. And also, I love you would never believe I love that kind of music, but I love jazz.
Okay.
I love jazz and blues, man. I really seriously like when I go to blues, to blues concert or jazz clubs, I have the best time of my life. It's just a different vibe,
Okay.
different vibe, different environment. It's just different. It's just chilling.
Okay.
It's a chill vibe.
All right. Sweet. So one final question, and then if you want to share your social media, how people reach out to you. But the last question I have for you is radio podcasting, like what do you see, or give me this is free advice to me. What advice do you have for me with this podcast? Like, should I do radio? Like, should I introduce politics? Like, how should I be better? Because yeah, how do I mix the music, or what should I do? Like, what's your suggestion for me with this podcast?
Well, it all depends on what your podcast is trying to do, you
Okay.
know. If you're trying to inform Haitian, if you're trying to inform people about Haiti, then you're in the right path. You can talk to different Haitian people, like different Haitian personalities, and you can have different Haitians in your show. But if you're trying to do a show where,
It's mainly for
you want to
black,
reach out,
mainly for
you want
black,
to reach
like
out.
black advancement, because I'm double black. I'm black American, I'm black Haitian. So it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. So if you want to do it, a podcast like that, you just have to stay focused on what you're doing, first of all. Don't lose hope because you're not getting as much viewers as you can, because all it takes is one day, one thing that you say in one day, and then you just blow up. So stay focused on what you're doing. Just have more people with positive energy in your show, you
okay,
know. Um, don't settle for less. Go for the top ones. People that you would never think that would come to your show. Those are the people that you should go for.
okay,
Just not the average one, because, it's good to go average, but sometimes you need a big star, or somebody, not a big star, but somebody, that's going to make a difference. But it has to be the right person. You know what
okay,
I'm saying? So, like, with me, if I was doing a show, it would strictly be about uplifting each person individually,
okay,
not just community-wide as well, but, I feel like, we are so disconnected. And one of the reasons why we are so disconnected is because we are so preoccupied with social media. And I remember back in the days, we used to go outside and socialize. Well, the only way that people socialize now is to the media, to the phones, chatting, video chatting, doing things like that. You don't even see kids outside anymore as much, playing around, on the sidewalk or riding their bikes or doing those things, playing kick baseball outside, all kind of stuff. So, we are in a darker age now, because we are not seeing everything like we're supposed to, because we are so preoccupied with other stuff that are distracting our views. That's what I meant when I said that, you have to be true to yourself,